Do you feel emotionally connected to your plants? As if in the process of caring for them, they as well are caring for you? What about planty DIYs and thrifting for plant items? If I have your attention, then the Plants by Wade Lee podcast is for you. Join me, plant friends, as we dig deep and experience the magic of plants. Welcome to the 11th episode of the Plants by Wade Lee podcast. I am honored and so excited to have Kamili Bell-Hill. She is an author, and you know her on Instagram and social media as Plant Blurred. I was like, where does this blurred word come from? And it was fun because I followed you for a while, but I learned today what that stood for, a black nerd. And I love that. I love that. And I love that there's so many other planty black nerds out there that are like Plant Queen, who I adore and love.
Christopher.
Yeah, Christopher's amazing. Well, welcome to Plants by Wade Lee. I'm so excited to have you joining us. Let's just start right away. You call your plant mamahood the path of peace.
Yes.
Explain that a little bit.
Well, plants, I think everybody who you will find and meet online in the Instagram planted world, I think we can all agree that we've discovered in keeping these plants, there's so much more than a hobby. There's so much more than just accessories for our spaces. They really make us slow down and take real quality time with ourselves, unapologetically, right?
Right. Yeah.
I used to say, they're my guilty pleasure. No guilt. Guilt is useless. They are my pleasure. They are my peace. I keep these green girls for me. They don't have anything to do with my role as mom, wife, volunteer, design, nothing. They're just this thing that I have discovered for myself. And it just brings me so much relaxation and just analog leisure. We just don't do enough of that anymore.
Yeah, we don't. How going into that then, your planty penthouse, how much time do you think that you spend in that space?
A lot.
Yeah, I'm to chill, right?
I am a greedy reader. So that's my favorite place, to stretch out on that bed and read. But the plants are distracting when I'm trying to just read, because then I'll just sit there. I have a little bench that I'll sit on right in front of the plant as if I'm in a museum, looking at some, wonderful fine art masterpiece. I just sit there and I look at my plants. I'm talking to each one. I have a lot of Hoyas. So that means you have to inspect all the time because the mealy bugs are relentless. So, I am in that room every single day.
Yeah, I love it. And same here, this space, my little plant haven in here, every day, it's just, but it is a ritual of self-care and reflection and mindfulness. Plants have just really, and I am new to the plant game, about 4 years this July. Previous to that, I lived in New York City and I worked in fashion, and it was constant go as as an artist, what it's like.
Right.
And it coming to Florida and then having this time to just really be able to be in this space has been so beneficial.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's so much I say it in the book, I say it all the time online, and it sounds kind of corny, but really, if you allow them to, plants will really open up a whole new world.
Yeah, for sure. Great. I love this. And previous to you becoming this plant mama, you have a law degree and you were a hard working lawyer. Tell us a little bit about how that shifted. You said you took a career break.
Yes.
But you also realized that was the biggest blessing in
your
life,
it really
right?
was. I was in corporate it was lawyering, but not like they would always remind us that we weren't technically practicing law. I was at one of the big five accounting firms that hired droves of lawyers, but where it's a fine, weird, gray area. I don't want to bore you all with that, but it was a soulless place. The walls were
Yeah.
gray. We were in cubicles. Like I had this awful, awful lady boss who probably just hated other women, and she just was horrible to work for. So when my first daughter came along and I, took time off, it was really easy not to return. Like I had never
Yeah.
imagined that I would be home with my kids. So I just like fell into that. And that was a blessing. Also, the hardest job I've ever done, because
Yeah.
kids are little tiny, just relentless. They are the hardest bosses to work for, like ever. And when I got this inkling to return to work outside the home, I just knew I could never go back to something like that.
Yeah.
I could not spend these hours on end. And I mean, the way we have set this thing up, capitalism, I know a
Yeah.
lot of people, you have to do it. You don't have a choice.
You
And
have
I
to. There's no choice.
I was really blessed that I had the ability to decide, okay, I'm going to try this instead because I cannot go back to a place that just felt like it was draining all of my energy and time. You can't get time back.
Right.
Like once you've spent it, there's no recuperating it. So
Right.
I knew that whatever I did, it had to be, something that just felt meaningful, of something that I both would make money from, but also enjoy doing,
Yeah.
not just chasing the dollars. So that's how
Um,
I ended up like starting my interior design.
and that's where the plants really
Yes.
came in. That's what I was
And
going to ask you, Camille. Like, were you caring for plants during that really stressful time working in that corporate job?
not inside, outside.
Yeah.
I've always had an outdoor plant love. Like my mom and my grandmother are the original plant moms. My mother, growing up, our apartment was an indoor jungle before that was ever a trend. She can grow every single type of fern. Ferns come to my house to die. Like as soon as
Yeah.
they
Right.
cross the threshold. My grandmother migrated from Florida to Connecticut. She had an actual like fruit orchard in her yard in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We had peaches, plums, cherries, apples, pears, everything. She could
That's
grow it.
amazing.
So, like every corner of my childhood memory was filled with plants, but as an adult, I mostly just grew outdoor stuff. Like my yard is full of hydrangeas that I've planted. I
I
like to
love
think that I have the nicest yard on my street. All my
that.
neighbors love it, and it's all my work. So
Well, I'm sure I see it in the book. All
yeah,
these photos, right, is your space,
exactly. It's
which is
that's my home.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean,
Thank
it's like a
you.
picture book that like I sometimes I just don't even read the words and just look
I
at the
love
picture.
it.
It's
That's what
so
you're supposed to
beautiful.
do. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I love that. So, at first the plants were outside, but then when I
Hmm.
was designing, I would buy a plant to finish a room, and I'd buy one for them and one for me. So like
Yeah.
the plant that flipped the switch for me was the fiddle leaf fig. So I always say like I'm in my villain era because that is not a starter plant.
No, it's not.
And
It's
she's
not.
still here with me, looking at
Yeah.
her. She doesn't look her best, but she's
Do you
still
have
holding
any
on.
outdoors?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any outdoors? The fiddle leaf fig.
Oh God, no! I wish
Yeah.
here in New York they would never survive.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm in Florida and I went to visit a friend in Tampa when I first moved here 3 years ago. And we went in her backyard and she had like a forest of fiddle figs. And I was like, are you kidding me? So, like,
Yeah,
right outside here, I have this like privacy fence of fiddle leaf figs
that
because
that
they're
is what is so
19.99 at Costco.
right. Exactly, and that's the funny thing about all of these plants that we, plant parents have the arrogance to try to grow in our homes.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a house plant. They're all outdoor plants.
Right.
So, and the fiddle leaf fig is a tree. Like in Florida, I imagine you see huge,
Oh,
massive specimens.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
like everybody always complains that they're so dramatic. It's like, well, really, it's because you're trying to grow it in a pot inside your
Yeah.
house.
But
So,
I've seen some in hospitals too that I'm like, whoa, this is like a huge, and it's
right,
branching and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that it's getting massive amounts of light, much more than I mean, I try my best.
yeah.
It's hanging on. It doesn't. It looks sad, but it's still here.
I love it. And so outside too, you have like a vegetable garden. You do like vegetable gardening as well.
I don't. I have
Yeah,
tried and failed at growing edibles,
yeah,
but that does not deter me. I just keep trying. And what I've learned in those failures is some plants you cannot grow like during the warmer season. Like I started with lettuces and greens, which I later learned are cold weather crops
yeah,
for my area. So that's why they kept bolting and not continuing on. So I'm going to give it another try. My biggest problem is I live in a small urban city, and you would not expect the amount of wildlife to
yeah.
be here. I have deers, I have foxes, I have rabbits, I have groundhogs. So I have to figure out like a enclosure
A system.
because
Yeah,
they will eat everything. They'll
they'll eat
think that I'm
everything.
putting out an all you
I
can eat
know.
buffet for them. It's
It's
like
it's crazy how they find it too. I have a little outside garden. We're in a townhomes, but our back is all open, so I have space to like have a raised garden. But the other day I was like upstairs because I can see it from our upstairs, and I was looking down and I see something moving, and I'm like, what is down there? There was a turtle inside the garden eating the kale. I was like, okay,
right, and it's
well,
like, excuse
you
me,
God's
Mr.
creature.
Turtle.
I ain't gonna bother you, but what are you doing?
Right, right. Like some days I can have up to like 6 deer. There's a family that comes, hangs out in my yard, eating my hosta,
Yeah,
sunning on the rocks. So I have not ventured into growing food because they will have their way. I have to
yeah,
figure out first some fencing.
yeah, yeah. Um, what we call our indoor jungles. How many plants do you think that you have in yours?
So let me tell you something, Wade. I have a rule. I do
Yeah,
not count. Plausible deniability. I have absolutely no idea.
yeah, yeah.
Like
And do you have
none.
them all over your house? Like,
All over.
yeah, yeah. The
Almost
pictures weren't just
in
staged. You have
almost
them.
yeah, in almost every single room.
It's so awesome. Do you
Yeah,
have
they're
like any
everywhere.
animals? Like they don't bother them.
Say it again.
Do you have animals? Any?
No,
No, no.
no, I
Yeah,
don't have any pets.
yeah.
Much to
I
my
have.
kids' chagrin. No, no pets for me.
Yeah, because I have a cat and I could not have. I can't even have a snake plant. Like it'll chew a snake plant. I'm just like
Oh
really.
God, yeah.
Uh,
No, I don't have no
yeah.
pets. I would like a dog, but I know my kids won't walk that dog, and it'll be all on me. So
Yeah, all on
no.
you. With all those plants, I mean, that's a full time job, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When did you start doing social media? You, it just kind of organically happened, or you were
So
like the,
I think that so I was always talking about plants and
yeah,
posting them on my personal. No one was interested. I got nothing back.
yeah,
Like I would barely like my. I have people who at first were not into plants. Now I've just about converted everyone in my life because I just I'm always proselytizing. But I
yeah,
think it was 2019. It was
yeah,
before COVID. I was like, let me see if there are a few like-minded people out there. I had no idea the Plantstagram was even a thing.
yeah, yeah,
And it's just been like one of the greatest finds of my life.
yeah. Yeah, and if you don't mind just like talking about that, like you said, one of the greatest finds, like the joy of connecting with other plant people.
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
It has been incredible because like you create these friendships online. Like never did I think that I would meet people online, offline. Because I've
Right.
always like, oh, don't do that. Don't meet
Yeah.
people online. They're going to be creeps. They're going to be, I watch a lot
Yeah.
of dark television. You're asking for a Law and Order episode, Like, I would say 3 months into this, and whenever I like something, like, I don't do it half speed. I want to dive in head
Yeah.
first, and I'm going all the way. That's the nerd in me, like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it. We're doing this, then we're doing it. So, like, 3 months in, I met this woman who was gonna be in New York for business. She was coming in from Oregon, total stranger. I met her at her hotel in Tarrytown, New York, at like 9 o'clock at night for a pink princess philodendron cutting.
Wow.
My husband thought I was absolutely insane.
Insane, right?
So, but that pink princess is still here with me, and I've chopped it up,
I
and
love that.
she's glorious. But it was 2019, and I just posted. I'll never forget. My first post was a picture of a crispy wave fern on my nightstand, and I was like, it was almost like a lighthouse, like a message in the bottle, like, "Hello, is
Yeah.
anybody there?"
Yeah.
And the followers just came, and it was just like incredible. Then I'm finding all these other accounts to follow, and people who are local. Like, I have real friendships that I've created online, so it's really been wonderful.
Yeah, I love that. I know when I come to New York, I cannot wait to meet Emily.
Yeah,
Now
I love
she's,
Kamili.
New York apartment home,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, from like the get go, I was like, "Oh, Emily, you're my people." Like
Yes.
we,
Right.
and when we did well, I kept saying to her, "I'm gonna do this plant podcast. Like this is gonna be one of my New Year's resolutions." And like month after, like it was February, then March, and she's like, "Wade, when are you doing that podcast?" I was like, "Okay, fine. If I'm gonna do it, you're gonna be the first one because I have
Right.
no idea." But it's been such a joy, like connecting with other plant people because there is this common thread of having this emotional connection to plants. They really do
Exactly.
open you up to a world of endless possibilities, friendships, and self care and growth. If you don't mind me going here, and if it's too much, you could be like,
Please.
okay. But I watched the podcast with the New York Botanical Gardens, and her name, what is her name? Arvlin Hill.
Yeah.
Arvlin Hill, and you guys started talking about something that was so profound to me today. Listening to it as I'm reclaiming my queer joy through plants. I went through an ex-gay ministry. It was very horrible, ugly trauma. And I've been bound by that for a long time. And literally the last few years of finding the joy with plants, I'm also reclaiming my queer joy as an adult. And you both had talked about the thousands and thousands of farmers and agricultural scientists and botanists who had that stripped away from their white part,
Right.
and hearing you all speak about it and reclaiming that joy of gardening, like it's ancestral pain.
Exactly. And I love that, what we're seeing now, because we are growers, Black people. It's in our DNA. We know how to tend to the land, and we have growing hands, like, for lack of a better word. But I
Right,
think that, you know, there was a turn away, like, we may have turned our backs to farming as a career and livelihood and hobby, or growing plants, and because of the shame of the transatlantic history. But it's like that shame doesn't belong to us. Like,
right.
any Black American who is here and is a descendant of an enslaved Black, we are resilient, we are strong, we are proud of our ancestors. And so I love that I'm seeing, like, a return to that roots, and kind of embracing that. You see a lot of Black homesteaders on Instagram, which I think is
Awesome.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I just love what I'm seeing, and this whole movement to embracing those roots and just like reshaping the story and the narrative around that, because there's much to be proud of.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, especially being in Florida too, where we we have governments trying to erase history. It's
Yeah,
so important to
like
like, yeah,
be safe
because
down there.
take people take the soil out and meticulously get the roots all out. I
I know.
never do this,
I do not do that.
and I saw that you didn't, and you just put it in there, and
Yeah.
you've never had an issue with that.
Never had an issue. Like
Yeah,
I do believe that we plant parents, we do too much.
yeah,
Like there is kind of like you don't have to do all the things. These plants are resilient. Provide them with the adequate light and the water and a little bit more room when they need it, and that's really it. But I will see people completely strip the soil, take all of the old dirt away and expose all of the roots. Now, if you had like pest issues, then
right,
I support that, because I have had some where I had to completely rinse off and wash all of the old dirt because I was trying to get rid of a pest. But if you're
yeah,
simply up potting and giving it more space, I can't see what the need to take that dirt off and separate those roots. I never disturb my root balls. I
yeah,
just go one up and I leave them just as they are. When they're in there with more space, they're going to naturally find that room on their own. So
yeah,
I don't need to bother it.
yeah.
And
I'm
I
so
think that it just
glad.
helps the plant, like, the less you are bothering those roots,
Right,
the
less you're
less
poking
like
at it,
trauma to
and
the plant you are going to, cause. So it can easily more acclimate to the new pot and the new soil.
right.
Just let it do what it do. Like you don't need to do all of that.
Yeah, I know. I see like people taking uh um what are they called? You pluck your eyebrows with a tweezers, taking the tweezers and like taking the little. I'm like, what are you
I feel
doing
like
to
the
this plant?
people, those are like the new parents, right? It's just like when you have
Yeah,
that first kid, you do all of the things, you
yeah,
sterilize
yeah,
everything, you have all the gadgetry. You're so meticulous at every turn. You're so afraid to make mistakes. And then by the time the second kid comes along, you realize that half of the stuff that you didn't need to do it.
yeah,
So like probably those people are probably like new to plant parenting. I don't have time to do all that. I
yeah.
have too many plants that need repotting. If I would never get it done.
Right. How do you take care of all the plants? Like the watering routine? Do you just kind of go by what you see, or
You know, I don't know how I keep it all in my head, but I do. And
yeah,
I'm literally like watering every day. Somebody's getting watered. They're
right,
not all getting watered at the same time, because some plants are drying out more quickly than others. Some I'm letting go longer, but I'm literally diddling with my plants every day.
yeah,
Everybody's getting a diddle. I'm
yeah,
checking
yeah,
the soil all of the time. And, when I first started, I thought that I had to have them on this watering schedule. I mostly watered everybody on Sundays. Everyone, whether they needed it or not, Sunday was watering day.
yeah,
But in the process and along the journey, you learn that everybody has their own schedule,
yeah,
so you just have to kind of throw that away and just go with it. Some of my plants I literally don't water for weeks. And then others, I'm watering
yeah,
every single week. But
yeah. What about fertilizing? You fertilize the indoor plants?
I fertilize year round
Yeah,
with every watering, because, you'll read all these hard and fast rules. Don't fertilize in the wintertime. My plants don't know it's wintertime.
right, because of the grow lights.
Well, not only because of the grow lights, I have my
Yeah,
heat on. It's,
yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah,
never
yeah,
as
yeah,
cold outside as it is. I mean, it's never as cold inside as it is outside. So how would they even know?
yeah.
So I don't have any plants that really go full dormant.
Right.
Like some of them, the growth definitely slows down, but they're always still actively growing. Is it because I fertilize or because they don't know? I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg thing, but I
Right.
fertilize year round.
Yeah. Um. Well, let's talk about these little things. I jumped on this bandwagon right in the way. I don't know
Oh my
Why?
God.
Ugh. My husband was like, Wade, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I have to go to Target. I have to go to Target. And this was before, like, I was like, I need the Monstera before I saw the cheat sheet,
Oh my
which you
God.
as
I'm
well posted.
so grateful for that cheat sheet
Yeah.
because when I first grabbed them, all I got were the little flowers.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, those are cute. But I don't want
Right.
the flowers. I want the plants, you
Yeah.
know?
These flowers and the like rainbow thing.
Okay, I did not get that
You
one.
didn't get that one.
That
Another
is
flower.
cute.
Yeah,
Well,
this is kind of
I
cute.
got the
Yeah.
bird of paradise, the peonies, and I got the pothos
Oh
before
yeah.
I got the cheat sheet.
And
So then
then you
after I
got
got the
all the
cheat
rest of them.
sheet, then it was like, all right, now I'm just getting, the plants. I did see someone's orchid. Now I want to go back
I know.
and get the orchid. It's really cute.
There's like a red ball one too that are like that has like a red wrapper that have succulents and cacti in it. Ugh.
Oh,
There's
from the
those.
miniverse?
Yes, from Miniverse. They're super cute. I have one that I didn't open, and because I'm kind of done with it, I'm just like, I was like, I'm gonna send this to Kamili, so we'll connect through email. But
Okay.
I'll send that one to you. But yeah, they're really cute too. They there's like this little succulent that had a
Oh,
terrarium, and the
wow.
succulent was inside
And they
it.
come in red balls?
Yeah, it's the yellow ball, but then it has like a red wrapping around it. I think it's was called like the Lifestyle series or something. I purchased them on Amazon, but
Okay, okay.
yeah, but they're
But then when
cute
you do it
because
on Amazon, though, you can't check the pinhole,
oh yeah, well that's true.
right? Because I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
think
yeah,
about doing
that
that,
is
but I was like,
true.
no, I need to check the pinhole. I need to make sure I'm getting the things.
Yeah, who figured that out? I mean, I guess it's
I don't
somewhere.
know, but she is doing the Lord's work.
She's doing the Lord's work. I love it. I
And what's
love it.
so funny is when I posted that, now people are going in and saying there's like mini verse Facebook pages, and I'm like, I gotta stay out of
Yeah,
those.
yeah, for
I gotta
real.
stay out because I love tiny things, and that'll just send me down a whole rabbit hole. Like,
I know. I thought of so many videos to do, like reels. That would be so fun to do with
I
the big
know.
one and the little one. But I'm just like, And I'm like, is this bandwagon still like trending? Like,
Well,
but because
it's
of
funny
you,
that
it's
you say
gaining a
that.
surgence again.
But when I first did that, I had recorded that. Now you're getting a little behind the scenes. I had recorded that video back in February. I didn't post it until now we're in May. I guess it was like it was April. And when
Wow.
I recorded it in February and I edited it and everything, I just never got a chance to post it because life. I just
Life,
moved
yeah.
on, and then I posted something else. I was like, are people even still interested in this? I'm not posting that. So I had decided not to post it. But then one day when I was getting my post together, I was not able to think of something. I was like, I'm just going to post that. I already edited it. It's already shot, whatever.
Right.
I'll change the voiceover. That thing has like over 100,000 views. Then when I posted the follow up, that one is in the hundreds of thousands. So sometimes when we're questioning, are people? Who cares if people are interested?
Right.
Just post your content. Just
Yeah.
post it.
Yeah.
I know I am my own worst critic. Like,
Yeah.
I will judge my stuff to I'm horrible.
Yeah.
But turn that voice off and just post your content.
Yeah.
Like, you
For
just don't
real.
know what is going to connect with people, and people love those tiny plants. I
Yeah, they
thought that the
do.
interest was gone, but it is
No,
not.
I love that it is because I see them empty at Target all the time because I do
Right,
still walk past it because I'm
exactly,
like, maybe I'll get that
exactly.
Monstera. But then I'm like, what do I
Well,
need this for? Wade Lee, you do
they're
not need
so
this.
adorable. I have
uh,
them all lined up on a little shelf next to my Hoyas. They're spectacular. The Pilea is my favorite. It's
yeah,
so
it's
tiny.
beautiful. It's so cute.
I'll have to send you a picture. I have this
Okay.
round shelf that
Yeah.
I had intended for all of my propagations, but I don't know why I don't have propagations on that shelf. I don't. Okay, maybe I'll start doing it because that's what I put it there for, and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
empty. And now my little plants are there, and
I
they just
love
look
that.
so they look so adorable.
I'm sure they do because they're so cute. They're
They're
so
so
cute.
cute.
Yeah, you are part of the Beehive.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you love Beyonce.
I love. I am the president of my local chapter of the Beehive. That's I'm pretty fanatical at this point and unapologetically so.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love it. Um, I Daryl had a live the other day, and he is like, "Oh, Kamili came in to take a break from her Beyonce
Cowboy
listening
Carter.
album."
Oh
Yeah,
my God, it has me in such. We spent the weekend zigzagging to my kids' basketball games all over the place. And every time we got back in the car, I would just start it. I was like, does anyone have any complaints? Because this is what we're listening to. Because I
oh my gosh, my
can't even
husband's the
listen to
same
anything
way.
else yet.
I'm like, well, it's better than Taylor Swift, I guess, but I think I've heard that album 1,000 times on
I
repeat.
it's
But
still
it's an amazing
it's an
album.
amazing album.
Yeah.
Like I can't. I really hope that she tours it. I'm
Oh,
saving
you
up my
know.
money right now just in case she should surprise us with
Yeah.
concert dates. I want to be ready.
I know. I've got my rhinestone cowboy boots ready because
Right,
I will
exactly. Got to
definitely,
get the outfit.
I will definitely go to that. And it's funny, it's, something that you say about the reels and like just post it. I was thinking about that. Like a lot of my posts, I never really posted myself in it. I hate myself on the camera like everyone does, but I got into this whole like trending thing around the holidays where you taped your phone up to the ceiling.
That is how I found you.
Oh,
That
really?
is how I found you. That
That
was
is
the video
hilarious.
that like showed because Instagram is so weird what they
Yeah.
will like push out and see. Like half the time I don't see anybody that I follow. I'm just getting their suggestions. But that was what showed up in my feed and it was so hilarious. I was like, I gotta follow this guy.
Like my husband was like, "What are you doing? Like this you're so against all of these things." And I'm just
It was
like, I guess
fantastic.
this is part of my reclaiming my queer joy because
Exactly. It was
yeah, and it
fantastic.
like
I loved
1.5
it.
million or something. I'm like, this is insane. Like I could have never imagined. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy because you don't as a content creator. And not that I didn't even really think of myself as a content creator until after that. And I thought, you know what? This is a joy. Like plants have
Exactly.
changed my life and I'm gonna share this and even create a business and I've been starting to sell plants as well through different avenues and it has who knows where it can go.
Who
Who
knows? Who knows,
knows.
right? Because when I first posted that picture of a fern, on my nightstand, I never dreamed that fast forward a few years, someone would be in my DMs, the publisher, asking if I wanted to write a book. So, like, just be open to the possibilities,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think sometimes we limit ourselves because we judge ourselves, we second guess, we allow imposter syndrome to just like
Hmm.
talk too loudly in our ears. Just do the thing, just try it.
Yeah.
Like, and I really, there's no real room for like saturation. Like,
Right.
there's room for all. There really
Yeah,
is.
there
So just
really
like
is.
do your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, PlantCon.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you tell like is this the first like have you been going to
This is
these
only its second
conferences?
year.
Okay.
So it is in its very baby stages. Last year was the first year. This was the second year, and they invited me down to come and speak. And I was like, okay, I'm curious. I'll go check it out. Oh my God. I hope that this thing just continues to like snowball and get bigger and bigger. It was so much fun. It
I
was
love that.
so much fun. It was just it was fantastic. And it's in Texas. They're doing it again Memorial Day weekend, so it's not just that one date. I guess they have multiple dates. They did it when I went. It was in Houston. The one Memorial Day weekend is going to be in Dallas, so it's moving around. It was incredible. Oh my God.
Yeah. Did you bring home any wish list plants?
Oh, indeed, I did.
Yeah,
I
you
did.
did.
I finally got my Monstera album and didn't have to give up my kidney for it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Back in
exactly.
2020, during the dark days of COVID, before then, I'd always been like against buying plants online. I was out of control. I bought one leaf, one unrooted leaf, for more than what I paid for this big, beautiful plant. Like,
Yeah,
it was ugly that during that time. It was ugly.
yeah, yeah. Very ugly. I bought a pink princess philodendron for $250. And I saw one on clearance for like $5.99 at
Now
Home
they
Depot
are
the other day, and I was like,
everywhere.
"What? They're
It
everywhere."
is, it's crazy.
Yeah,
And that to me is also like a lesson. Like, just wait.
yeah,
When there's a hot plant that hits the scene and there's a bunch of frenzy around, just wait. I remember when the
totally.
ZZ Ravens first came out, the black ZZ plant, like one stalk was like $75, one unrooted stalk. Now I have
Yeah.
like 20 of them
Now
because,
people are putting them on the plant swaps and just
well, now
outside
you
their
find them at
homes.
Costco.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
thanks to big growers like Costa, they're
Yeah,
making a lot of plants that were once just like not commercially available. I hate when they say rare. You
right.
know,
Yeah,
my
because they're
post
not
today,
rare.
I showed when I went recently to New York Botanical Garden, and we got a behind the scenes tour of their Nolan greenhouse. And there we saw plants that are actually rare,
Yeah,
plants
yeah.
that are literally going extinct, and they're in conservatories and they're trying to save that It's like, that's a rare plant.
Right, right,
Like,
right.
I hate that label so, so much. And I hate when, you know, there's like kind of gatekeeping and plants are priced at just these ridiculous amounts. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it doesn't.
So, like, just wait it out. That plant
Yeah.
is going to show up at your supermarket in a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's now. Now it's happening. Like, I only joined Facebook again. Like, I went through the whole Facebook thing and then I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
But because of these plant pages, there's like the big box plant, Florida big box plant store, and there's like Monstera ties,
Yeah.
there's variegated Alacosta, like dragon scales.
Yeah.
Like, dragon scales, like, those were 300, four
They
hundred
used to be
dollars
so expensive. Now
nineteen
they are
ninety nine.
everywhere. I was grocery shopping and there were
Yeah,
dragon scales at Wegmans in the produce department. So it's just like unbelievable, the plants you find now.
yeah.
Unbelievable. I got a Thai constellation from Walmart. It's
That's
like,
insane.
it's
Yeah,
insane. It is
Costas
insane.
Costas made it no longer a rare plant.
Right. Well, this one wasn't even from Costa. Remember, they had their whole debacle where they were going to introduce them, and I think that their tissue cultures failed. They didn't.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, there were, but now they do have
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
But this one was from. I'm looking at it. Oh God, It's wild. Oh my God, I can't think of the first word in the brand's name is wild.
Okay.
They're smaller growers than Costa Farms, but you see them. I always see them at Trader Joe's.
Ooh,
Think of their name, but
I
they
know. I
have
saw a
them.
nice plant at Trader Joe's yesterday, and I was
Oh
like,
my God,
"Wow, this is really nice."
Trader Joe's is a trap, and it's like ours up here. They're right at the door. The plants are
Yeah.
right at the door. I can't even get in to get my eggs and the milk before they hit me with the plants. And I'm weak. I'm weak,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
There's always a plant in my cart when I leave that place.
I know. You can. My husband too is like, "You're gonna buy this aloe vera from CVS." I'm like, "It looks so sad. I'm gonna
Let me
put it
tell
in
you
the
something.
yard, and it's gonna triple in size."
That is how I am. Like, people are always asking, where do you buy plants? Wherever they sell them.
Yeah,
If they sell plants,
exactly.
I have no loyalty.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna buy the plant wherever I find the plant, and my routine is the same. I quarantine the plant away from everybody else, no matter where the plant came from, because just assume there's something in that soil, you know,
Yeah.
like
So you do
always,
quarantine. Yeah, and spray it
always.
down or
I will spray it down with a little bit of neem and
mhm,
Castile soap, little Dr. Bonners, and just give it a period just away from everybody else.
yeah.
You know, like the worst thing you could do is buy a plant and bring it right home and drop it in with everybody else. Like you're
I
gonna
was talking to Derek about this yesterday because Derek's like, "No, I don't do that," and I was like, "Yeah, me either, Derek. Sometimes I do. I'll spray it down, but then I'm like, it's time to have a photo shoot, so I put it up and
really.
yes, and I'll just leave it." And he's like, "Yeah, I leave it too," and I'm like, "I know,
Oh
but."
my God, no,
But
I
I
never
said to
do
him though
that.
too that like,
I will spray it down with a little bit of neem and
mhm,
Castile soap, little Dr. Bonners, and just give it a period just away from everybody else.
yeah.
You know, like the worst thing you could do is buy a plant and bring it right home and drop it in with everybody else. Like you're
I
gonna
was talking to Derek about this yesterday because Derek's like, "No, I don't do that," and I was like, "Yeah, me either, Derek. Sometimes I do. I'll spray it down, but then I'm like, it's time to have a photo shoot, so I put it up and
really.
yes, and I'll just leave it." And he's like, "Yeah, I leave it too," and I'm like, "I know,
Oh
but."
my God, no,
But
I
I
never
said to
do
him though
that.
too that like, and
Mm.
there's like frogs and lizards, so I don't know if they eat those kind of pests, mealy bugs and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure. So, but I think this is my logic. I'm like, well, I don't really have pests because these creatures are eating them. I don't know.
Oh my God. That's crazy talk. I went to PlantCon, what was that date? April 12th. What's today? May 6th. I'm
Yeah.
looking at my plants. They're still in quarantine.
Wow.
They're not with anybody. No, they're not going to get mixed
Have
in.
you had a big infestation?
No, and I think that that's
That's
why.
why. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do my Hoyas do struggle with mealy bugs, but that is because like there are some plants that just are prone to certain pests like alocasias. They love spider mites. So I don't have a lot of them. You know, I
Yeah.
have some polys, and I have a regal shield. I have two polys and a regal shield, and that's it. I used to have a black beauty, no, not black beauty, black velvet. I had a couple of dragon scales. I had the Maharani. They all gave up the ghost because of spider
Oh,
mites.
yeah.
Spider
Oh,
mites are so hard to get rid of. So I stay away from that plant
yeah.
family. Hoyas are my weakness. They're my kryptonite. And even though I lost some last year, some really big ones to a terrible mealybug infestation. Like I just could not get rid of the mealies. I had soil mealies. I got rid of all the soil. I hosed them down. I potted them up in fresh orchid bark, and still the mealybugs came. Even the
Mm-mm.
ones that I've transferred over to pond still get like it's just really hard to get rid of mealybugs on Hoyas. But when I went
Yeah,
to
because like
Bowling
you turn
Green,
around and like it's like a skin of white on it, right? Like,
well, you'll see it's because the egg sacs, like when you see the little cottony thing, those are thousands of eggs in there.
yeah, yeah,
You know, the best you can do, like I think that you just have to like accept the fact that I can manage the pest. I cannot
yeah,
eradicate them.
right.
You know, like they'll never be completely gone, but I can just make sure they don't kill the plant.
Yeah,
Like they killed my huge Hoya compacta. It was gorgeous, but those it was so curly and tight. It was hard
how do
to
you get? Yeah,
even though I would dunk the thing, like it died, and that was tragic.
mm.
I was really sad about losing that plant because you don't find it big often,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. But but other than that, to go back to your original question, no, I've never had an
Any,
infestation.
yeah.
No.
Do you have any heirloom plants that you have maybe been passed down to, or a gift that you have that are very special to you?
I do. I have I think it's a tropic snow, a Dieffenbachia snow. I'm not even really sure which Dieffenbachia it is, but my aunt had it for like 20 years and she's given everybody a piece of this plant.
Yeah.
And we all call it Dorothy because that's what she called it. So we all have a piece of Dorothy,
That's
like
so cool. I
every
love that.
single, and I have a huge family on my mom's side. So Dorothy is in all of our homes. The mother plant, I mean, now it's got to be like 30 years old.
That's awesome.
It's got to be, yeah. But I think that's the only one thing. Yeah, like I think that I was talking to a friend after her mom had passed away, and she was feeling a lot of guilt because she had been gifted a plant and she wanted to keep it alive. And I'm like, I feel like giving people plants upon the passing of someone is not the greatest thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because then if that plant goes, then they're grieving again, you know? And I understand the sentiment, like the
Yeah.
idea behind that whole practice and kind of it's, especially like the peace lilies, but I feel like let's just stick to flowers because it's like, do you really want to burden someone with that? Like maybe they're not
Right.
in a space to take care of the plant,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna attach sentimentality to that plant, and then they're grieving all over again if the plant doesn't make it. So it's like we have to come up with some other tradition.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
let's not give the plants, like because that can be tough.
Yeah.
That can be
Yeah. It can be very tough because it's a full time. It's interesting too. This is kind of siding that, but I had met a friend who was in recovery, and I went to his house, and it was filled with plants, and he was just like, my sponsor. I got into plants because my sponsor said I needed something to take care of, something to be mindful of,
right.
and he's like, as I got healthier, the plants were healthier, and I grew my jungle, so to speak, which I think is really interesting in that aspect
Yeah.
too. So like when you are in a good place, they
Right.
could be very good. But I never thought
Exactly.
about that, like not being in a good place, because I did experience that, and that's the last thing you think about is
Right.
you got to take
Exactly.
care of
Right. Because
yourself. So
and you really can, like, they will, like, reflect you back to you. It's like
hmm
when I'm in a good place, when I'm giving myself the time, then I'm giving my plants the time. And when they're in decline, it kind of makes you like, wait, let me take some stock. Let me take inventory. What's going on? You need to slow down. So they really are a means of creating like a, really meaningful self-care practice.
yeah. With that, my love, where can people find you? And do you also have any new projects that are coming up that you can talk about or would like to talk about?
People can find me across all of the platforms. Plant Blurred. I'm there on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. Probably just way too many. YouTube. I'm starting to get my YouTube together. Just way too many platforms, but find me there. And I'm taking the book back out on the road. I did a lot of in-person events here in New York when the book first, Happy Plants, Happy You, first came out, and there it is.
Yes,
There
yes.
it
Yeah, I
is.
think earlier we didn't even say, we just jumped into it. I didn't even say happy plants, happy you, but yes, this is,
There it is.
yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just continuing the journey of that book. That's a little, it's a baby. It's not even a year old. And I'm also working on ideas for the second. They want me to hop in there and do a second one. So I'm diddling around with that.
And what a blessing. Like, I don't know if the viewers or the listeners had caught that. Like, they contacted you. They were like,
Yeah.
you have something to offer to this community.
Yes.
Let's do
Yeah.
this. And that's amazing.
That was like just a dream. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to be a published author, so it's just incredible that
And what
plant.
did you say to your family? Like, you open this up and you're like, what?
I know, and it's like it was like, do you want to write? And I was like, I didn't even read the rest of it. I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Let's talk. So that has just been incredible.
Yeah, I love it. And it is such, like I said, I can't say such good things because I am a self-care junkie, so there is that component to it. But the photos alone are so beautiful. So definitely get a copy of
and you can find that on
Happy
Amazon. Where books are sold everywhere. Bookshop.org, Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, all the places. Local bookstores, libraries.
Yeah, awesome.
It's there.
Yeah, get a copy of it. Get it in your library because it is a great read. Well, Kamili, my love, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I've had so much fun. We will have to do this again and maybe do like a niche thing because like I said with the photos, and they're beautiful. Like you stage those photos in your home, and the way that you stage plants is so beautiful. So maybe episode down the road we could do a staging video because that would be really fun. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, my love. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You too, Wade. Thank you.
Hi, Planty people. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 11th episode of the Plants by Wade Lee podcast. I hope you enjoyed my planty conversation with author Kamili Bell Hill, also known as the Plant Blurred. Check out her book, Happy Plants, Happy You. Next week for the 12th episode, we'll be joined with Cyril Cybernated. We discuss using AI to create planty content on social media. Don't want to miss that. Be kind to yourself and others. And if you want that plant, buy that plant. Till next time, bye.